What's going on, everybody? My name is SMITE. Welcome to episode 4 of SMITE God Spotlights. Today we're going to cover more mages, but first we need to look at the numbers from last week's vote. We did Zeus, Ao Kuang, and Anubis, just to remind you. Let's see who you guys thought was best in week 3. So as always, the votes have been counted, and here are our potential victors sitting here waiting for their numbers. Let's begin. Ao Kuang had 149, Anubis had 226, and Zeus had 210. Therefore, our victor of week 3 is Anubis, the first mage to win. So this week we'll get another mage and see who joins Anubis, Anhur, and Neith, victors of previous episodes. Let's begin week 4 and get another victor. Our first god is Agni, the god of fire, and his passive is after hitting 4 basic attacks, using his 2 or his ult, will set his enemies on fire in addition to doing damage. His 1 is a 10-second AoE called Noxious Fumes. It's basically a cloud of explosive gas that sits on the ground and does damage every second. If Agni fires any of his other abilities into it, it ignites and stuns anyone within the radius. His 2 is called Flame Wave. It's a line attack, and basically he just flings a bunch of flames forward, damaging anyone in its path. Like I said before, this will ignite Noxious Fumes, so it's usually used in combination with his 1. And I'm going to say this for all his abilities, keep an eye on your passive, because if you don't have Noxious Fumes, you can still set people on fire. His 3 is a forward dash that leaves a 3-second flame trail behind him. Anyone who runs through this will be ignited, and it does damage every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds. Again, this will ignite Noxious Fumes, so feel free to run through that. You are fire resistant, I promise, and don't hesitate to use it as a getaway. This brings us to his ultimate, Rain Fire, which is actually really interesting. He gains a flaming halo over his head every 20 seconds, which represents a meteor that he can summon from the sky and fling at the ground. So you can have 3 of these at one time. You can fire 1 every 0.8 seconds, and it ignites Noxious Fumes. Hebo, god of the Yellow River, is next, and his passive is every time he uses an ability, he gets a 5-second, 5% magic buff that stacks up to 3. His 1 is called Water Cannon. It's a cone attack, and it's pretty basic. It damages enemies in front of him, and he basically fires a wave of water from his really baggy sleeves. And there you have it. For his 2, Flood Waters, Hebo throws a trail of water onto the ground, which speed buffs him and his allies, and speed debuffs his enemies. It's great for breaking up team fights in your favor, and like any other speed buff, getting out of terrible situations, or straight up harassing your enemy early game. Speaking of which, his 3, Water Spout, is a great early game harass. He funnels water into the ground and pops it up with great force, damaging his enemy and slowing them 25% for 2 seconds. Follow this up with your 1 on your already disoriented enemy. For his ult, Hebo transforms into a wave and rolls forward at a great speed, damaging everyone who comes in front of him. Out of personal experience, this ult more often than not takes the enemy by surprise, and it's great for chasing down or retreating low health enemy. This brings us to Poseidon, the god of the oceans, and his passive takes the form of a tide meter. It's called Changing Tides, and basic attacks Fill It, which buffs movement speed and ability damage. His 1, titled Surge, is a line attack, and he throws a wave forward, knocking back enemies and doing damage. It's an excellent early game harass, but keep in mind it reduces his tide meter by 35%, so it's pretty powerful, but use it sparingly because you want to keep your passive up. His 2 is called Trident. When he activates it, his movement speed is buffed, and he fires an additional 2 basic attacks for 6 seconds. Using Trident decreases your tidal meter by 15%, but any hits that you land with it increase it, so it's okay if you use it, just make sure you land the hits. His 3, Whirlpool, is an AoE that slows his targets and pulls them towards the center, doing damage every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds. It uses 25% of your tide meter. It's great for initiating battles, and if your mid lane is set, use it first to gank lanes. His 4, Release the Kraken, is an AoE that slows enemies 30% and damages them. People near the center of the radius will be popped up and damaged more. This ult is absolutely a necessity in team fights if Poseidon is in the game. Make sure you wait for him to initiate and finish off whatever's left, if anything remains after this ult. And that does it for episode 4. We have Poseidon, Hebo, and Agni. Who was your favorite mage in this episode? Let me know in the comments. My name is SMITE. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's see who we can get for a 4th winner. Peace out.